This is vocabulary list 28, where we will be learning signs about things that are inside. Last time we learned some signs about things that are outside. So this time we're doing inside. So we're going to start with house. So you want two flat hand shapes, and you're going to kind of trace the roof and the walls. All right. So you have flat hand shapes, and you're going to go down and down. So it's angle, down at an angle, and then straight down. House, house. Now remember, we learned the sign for home already, and that's different. This is home. So just kind of like in English, house and home are used a little bit differently. This is home. This is house. House. If you live in an apartment or you're going to visit an apartment, it is finger spelled, but it's abbreviated, which means it's shorter. So you do A-P-T. So A-P-T, and that means apartment. Window, you want two flat hand shapes. Your palms are going to face you. You want the hand that you write with, your dominant hand, to be on top because it's going to move back and forth. Remember, it's your dominant hand that does the moving all the time. If they both move together, that's fine. But if there's only one hand moving, it's your dominant hand. So that's window. Door is kind of the same idea where it's just your dominant hand moving. So you want two B handshakes. It's like a flat handshake, but you put your thumbs in by your palm. And then you're going to turn it so that you have your non-dominant hand, the hand that you don't write with the palm facing to the side. And then your dominant hand, the hand that you write with, will have the palm facing out. And then you just kind of put them together like it's a little corner. Okay, like that. Then with your dominant hand, you open the door a whole bunch of times. Door. Can you see how it looks like it's opening? So you open the door a bunch of times. Door. So the next sign is the sign for light, but there are a couple of things to know about that. There are different ASL signs for the English word light. And today we are just learning the sign for, well, we're learning all three signs. We're starting with if it's an object, like a light bulb. Like if it's a light that you can touch, it's signed this way. You do an 8 and then you flick it out like that, and you hit your chin, underneath your chin. Okay, so that's light. If it's light in the room or the sun comes up and now it's light outside, then that's a different sign. If it's light that you can't touch, then you start with two squished O hand shapes with your thumbs kind of touching there and your palms facing out away from you. And then you open. That's light. That's like it's light in this room right now because I have my light on. Okay, so it's light in the room because my light is on, the one that I could touch up there. All right. And then if you want to say, hey, turn the lights on, and there are a bunch of like overhead lights, there's even a different sign for that. So you start with squished O hand shapes and you point your fingers down and you open them. So it's like if the light is off, it's closed. And then if it's open, it's on. So those are overhead lights. If you want to have, okay, everybody turn on the lights, it would be that way. All right, so let's do that again, just real quick. Light, the kind that you can touch, like a light bulb, or there's my light fixture up there. I could touch it, light. It's light in this room is something that I can't touch, but I can just see. So light, light. And then if you're talking about overhead lights, and that's lights on or lights off. Okay, next for inside signs, we have a table or a desk. If you want to talk about a table, or if you want to talk about a desk, it's signed the same way. So you want a flat hand shape with your arm, like your whole arm out here, palm facing down on your non-dominant hand, the one you don't write with. Then it's the same on your dominant hand, only it goes on top and you're going to hit a few times. So make sure the movement repeats. For chair, You want a U hand shape on the hand you don't write with, and you put your palm facing down. Your palm's going to point down. Then you want a U that's bent on your dominant hand, and you're going to, this is like little legs, you're going to sit on the chair, and you repeat that movement too. So far, the things in the room that we've talked about have repeated movements: window, door, table or desk, and chair. So you just do that movement over and over a few times. Chair. The next one is room. So all you're really going to do here is make walls out of your hands to make the sign for room. So you want two flat hand shapes, and you're going to start with your palms facing each other and your fingers pointing out away from you that way. Okay. So you're going to start there, and those are like two little walls, and then you're going to turn them and make two more walls. So room, room. So two walls, two more walls, room. You can also do it starting this way and ending this way. That's actually how I do it. That's how I learned it. Room, room. Next, we have the sign for bed, which is a flat hand shape, and you just lay down like you're laying down on your bed. So if you put those two signs together, we can sign bedroom. So we sign bed, room, bed, room. Or if you want to do room the other way, it's bed, room. And then the last sign on this list is the sign for new. We learned old before when we talked about how old people are. And you can use that sign for things too. Like if you have an old bed, you could sign old bed. But if you have a new bed, we're going to do it this way. So you do two flat handshakes and they're bent a little bit. They're just curved. So you want your non-dominant hand, the hand you don't write with, to have your palm facing up. And it's going to be the same with your dominant hand, but it's going to kind of scoop, new. And you hit a little bit. You can probably hear that. New. So if you want to say, I have a new room, or you could do new room I have. All right, so that is vocabulary list 28 for elementary.